from Mexico into Texas. And at this time, I'm going to sign my directive to Colonel McCraw, the director of the Texas Department of Public Safety. To get that project underway immediately for the zero tolerance and the inspections that will be taking place. Second, to help local officials whose communities are being overwhelmed by hordes of illegal immigrants who are being dropped off by the Biden administration. Texas is providing charter buses to send these illegal immigrants who have been dropped off by the Biden administration to Washington, D.C. We are sending them to the United States Capitol, where the Biden administration will be able to more immediately address the needs of the people that they are allowing to come across our border. To get that going, I'm going to sign a letter to Chief Nim Kidd with the Texas Division of Emergency Management, who will be in charge of this operation. Together, and to recap on these, what Colonel McCraw is charged to do is, in this letter, I say that I hereby direct the Texas Department of Public Safety to conduct
round of applause. So that was back in April when Greg Abbott decided to send busloads of illegal immigrants to D.C. Now, I've been critical of Greg Abbott in the past on certain issues. And I thought this was a stunt and it was not going to do it. But I was proven wrong, and here's where we are now. Let's see how this has been going. Now we're in July. Check this out.
Asylum seekers are showing up in D.C., and now Mayor Muriel Bowser is calling this a humanitarian crisis. She's calling on the D.C. National Guard to help. Our Rafael Sanchez Cruz has been all over this story, live at Union Station tonight. And Rafael, I understand that request is facing some pushback?
It has, Leslie, especially from the groups that have been on the ground since April working with these migrants. Now, the letter that you mentioned was sent out on July 19th, and it comes after Mayor Muriel Bowser refused to use D.C. funds to help these nonprofit groups in their work, saying on July 18th, we have to focus on serving our own homeless population. Now, Bowser is suggesting that D.C. Armory be used as a processing center. Her administration says that more than 4,000 migrants have arrived to D.C. since April from Arizona and Texas, but those governments are saying that more than 7,000 asylum seekers have been sent to the nation's capital since April. For months, people looking for new opportunities have ended up here at Union Station, and some have stayed here because they say they were told they would receive resources upon arrival.
We need the federal government to be involved. So I've asked for the deployment of the Guard, as long as we need the Guard to deal with the humanitarian crisis that we expect to escalate. The number of people crossing the border seeking asylum, we expect to only go up. And we need to make sure that there is a national response.
Now, Mayor Bowser has not received a response in regards to her request. She did, however, mention that the grant from FEMA, that's $1 million to SAMU, has been extended. That's one of those organizations working with the migrants. The criticism that she's facing from the other groups is that they're not seeing any of this money, and they're saying they're relying solely on donations. In a statement to WUSA 9, DMV Sanctuary said to us, refugees to D.C. have been traumatized enough already. They need to be met with comfort and warmth, not military presence. And like I mentioned, we have yet to hear from the federal government on this issue. I'm live from Union Station. Leslie, back to you.
So many lives caught in the middle here.
All right, so you saw that. Now, it's funny how the D.C. mayor says that she needs a national response. And she admits the number of people crossing the border is only going to go up. And she also says that she has to focus on her own homeless population. That is the whole point of Greg Abbott. That's the whole point of what he's trying to do. His whole idea is to let people understand what we are dealing with here in Texas. We have our own issues. We have our own people to deal with in our state, in our communities. We can't have the system overwhelmed with thousands upon thousands of people coming across the border. It just doesn't work that way. It's not supposed to work that way. Look, I'm not anti-immigration. I have a problem with the floodgates being let open down to the southern border and people just coming across and overwhelming the system. Now, there's also a bigger issue with drugs, as we see huge amounts of fentanyl coming across the border, people dying, lots of drug trafficking, as I said, MS-13, terror suspects being arrested at the border. It's bigger than just having people come in and using their resources. It's also a public safety issue. So the very communities that Democrats claim they care about, the black community, the Hispanic community, these are the places that are being affected by all this. You know, a lot of these places are being hit really hard with drugs. So I just find it funny how, the mayor wants to call in the National Guard when she denied them, when she refused to have them come and help for January 6th, when thousands upon thousands of people were coming to her city to protest, which was supposed to be, a peaceful protest, which for the most part it was, except for the select few who decided to cause some, some damage. But this is what happened here. To be clear, the District of Columbia is not requesting other federal law enforcement personnel and discourages any additional deployment without immediate notification and consultation with MPD, which such plans are underway. So she knew that all these people were coming to her city, and I think it would have been smart to have her call the National Guard in beforehand, before you have thousands and thousands of people in your city, not knowing what's going to happen. No matter what kind of protest it is, I think you should be prepared for that. So here we go to Washington Examiner. And she's blaming Texas and Arizona for this. The mission would begin as soon as possible and continue indefinitely until the city relieves them. To be clear, I recognize the magnitude of this request, but the governors of Texas and Arizona are making a political statement to the federal government, and instead their actions are having direct impacts on city and regional resources in ways that are unsustainable. See, like I said, the whole point was to have these liberal mayors understand what we are going through down here in Texas. Now all of a sudden they're complaining about resources and things like that. When she declared D.C. as a sanctuary city after Donald Trump got elected in 2016. Here it goes. Monday, November 14th, 2016. The values, laws, and policies of Washington, D.C. did not change on Election Day. We celebrate our diversity and respect all D.C. residents, no matter their immigration status. We are a sanctuary city because we know that our neighborhoods are safer and stronger when no one is afraid to call on our government for help, and when our police can focus on protecting and serving. So she says neighborhoods are safer and stronger when no one is afraid to call on our government for help. So she's called on Joe Biden to act. She's called on a national response, and she's gotten nothing in return from Joe Biden. So, look, she wanted this place to become a sanctuary city. Now she has 4,000 plus illegal immigrants coming to her city, busloads of people coming in. Now all of a sudden she has no resources and she wants help. No, she is part of the problem. 100%. So I want to talk about this idiot, Eric Adams, as well. Now, he seems to be getting a little irritated as well, which I think is funny. Eric Adams calls Governors Greg Abbott and Doug Ducey, cowards for sending migrants to D.C. Here's what this clown had to say. Eric Adams is such an idiot, in my opinion. Mayor Eric Adams on Thursday, this is a while back, called the Republican governors Texas and Arizona cowards for busing asylum seekers seeking migrants to Washington, D.C., and suggested they lied about not also sending migrants to New York City. Our country is home of the free, land of the brave. We do not become cowards and send people away who are looking for help. So, he's calling Greg Abbott and Doug Ducey cowards for wanting to send a message. Now, look, I don't think this is a political statement. I mean, in some ways it is, but at the same time, like I said, it's to draw awareness to the problem. The problem is not Greg Abbott. The problem is not Doug Ducey. The problem is Joe Biden. The problem is their own party. The Democrat Party is the problem. They support these kind of policies. They support, for the most part, these open borders and things like that. But they're the very ones causing all of these issues going on across the country with these drugs coming over, like I said, and their own cities being overwhelmed. And they don't have enough resources to handle all these people. Now let's go down here and let's look at some more complaints from this idiot. So I think this is actually pretty funny. More than 2,800 migrants sought government-funded housing in recent weeks. If we do not get these urgently needed resources, we may struggle to provide the proper level of support our clients deserve, while also facing challenges as we serve both a rapidly growing shelter population and new clients who are seeking asylum. So he's complaining about 2,800 people being sent to New York City. You know, like I said, it's okay for Texas, it's okay for Arizona to deal with this. As long as it's not in their backyard, it's not a problem. As we see right here in this paragraph, one migrant from Venezuela who spoke to the Post outside of a homeless intake center in the Bronx, said immigration officials in San Antonio, Texas, arranged an appointment for her husband, and their four kids to meet with a lawyer in the Bronx so they could seek asylum, even though they didn't ask to be sent to New York. So I'm okay with that because, for one, these people made the choice to come to America illegally, and they get sent to the Bronx, and now New York is having an issue. Mayor Adams has an issue with this. So if those people came to San Antonio and were seeking asylum there, it wouldn't be a problem. You would never hear about it. So that's why I'm okay with Greg Abbott doing this, because Greg Abbott has his own state to worry about. Doug Ducey has Arizona to worry about. It's to draw attention to the situation and get Biden to act, which I don't think he will. Well, he might do some things like he's filling in gaps, certain parts of the wall. He may try to stop the flow a little bit quietly, but he's still not going to secure the border. So, like I said, this problem will not go away until we get a new Congress in November. I mean, it may not completely go away, but at least we can pump the brakes a little bit on this. Now, this what Greg Abbott's doing will not solve the problem itself as a whole. It's not going to stop people from coming across the border. I know that was what some of his critics had to say, even on our side, that sending buses of illegals to other cities and states is still going to is not going to solve the problem, which it won't 100%. But the point is to draw attention to the problem. to draw awareness and to get these Democrats to understand what is going on, that they are a part of the problem. And so maybe once they start feeling the effects, something will be done about it. So we'll have to see what happens. But in the meantime, I'm happy that my governor is doing this. I mean, like I said, I didn't think he was going to do it. I thought it was all talk. But hey, here we are 3 months later, and thousands of people have showed up in D.C., and now they're complaining about it. So hey, I'm okay with that. So kudos to Greg Abbott for taking action on this, and hopefully we'll see some more results soon. Something will get done about this at the federal government level. I don't think so, but hey, only time will tell. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care.